We're used to Sister Jacqueline's voice giving us the introduction to the day's episode, but she's on vacation. No problem, we have someone equally qualified to fill in for her.
I am Carlos Ramirez, and I wish to say that although there is a small generation gap between Sister Bertrille and me, I am broad-minded enough to believe that a person should do her thing. Her talent for being at the right place at the wrong time was close to genius.
He refers, of course, to all the times she's interrupted him when he was about to, get to know a beautiful woman. We get a couple of flashbacks and she's out looking for him again. His car is somewhere in the boonies. Normally that means he's trying to hide from her and everybody else, and usually for the same reason. But not today, apparently.
One set of footprints, he's alone.
Yeah, unless he's...
Oh, excuse me.
carrying her like a dashing gentleman. Really, sister, when was the last time you heard of Carlos Ramirez wandering into the bushes alone on purpose? I can only think of one good reason he might do that, and you probably shouldn't disturb him then either. That was our opening, and what it has to do with the rest of the episode is a little oblique, but basically the connective thread is Carlos's womanizing.
You should have seen her, Ramon. You will not believe that in a little island like Culebra, you can find a girl like that.
Beautiful, huh?
Oh, just a pleasure to look at. Unfortunately, that was about the only pleasure I had. When I tried to kiss her, she almost broke my jaw.
Gotta learn to pick up on those subtle cues, Carlos. Doesn't sound like she's that into you.
Hello? Oh, a collect call from Culebra. Yeah, I take it. 2 hours early. How are you, my baby? Uncle Antonio!
That's right, Carlos. How are you, my boy?
Somebody needs to write up that operator. They're supposed to tell you the person's name, too. Carlos forgot he has relatives on Culebra as well as potential conquests. Very poor relatives.
What is it this time? As if I didn't know.
Carlos, I was wondering, would it be possible for you to send us a little check?
Un cheque otra vez a esta altura del mes, todo el tiempo dándote.
What did he say?
He's thinking it over.
When you're the family member who made good, suddenly you have more close, loving relatives than you ever knew. I know someone that it happened to. He took his dad's business and built it into a multi-million-dollar operation. And as quick as he got successful, suddenly he had so many poverty-stricken relatives coming to him with their handout, he lost count of them. Carlos has the same issue. He's built his business into something he can be proud of, but all the relatives figure that's just so they can put the touch on him.
I don't like to ask, but at the moment we seem to be very tight.
Things have been tight with you for the past 18 years. But not as tight as they are going to get from now on. Now, Uncle Antonio, if you know what's good for you, you better get a job.
A job? At my age?
I'd bet the contents of my left nostril he's younger than I am, and I'd love to get a job. There's a particular place that I'd really like to go to work for. Unfortunately, it's a very big place, and you need 2 good legs. I have 1, and I don't hop very well.
Now, don't call me anymore for money, because from now on, that's out. Now, do you hear me? Out! Sister Bertrille, where are you going?
You just told me to get out.
Not you. I was talking to my Uncle Antonio in Culebra.
He's perfectly willing to talk to you that way, but Carlos wouldn't treat children like that.
Oh, you talk to your uncle like that?
Well, it's the only way to make him listen. The poor man is so proud that I had to yell my head off before he lets me help him.
Oh, and did you get to help him?
Yeah. I just got him a job with a construction company.
Well, let's put it this way. He told him that the construction company is hiring. The rest is Uncle Antonio's problem. He forgot why they're there. He promised the kids a boat ride today.
Children, we are all going for a ride on my boat.
Don't worry, little Pamela and Ferdinand did eventually grow into those incredible eyes. We saw her last season when she was Sister Shapiro. Today her name is Violetta, and notice the way she's holding her hand like this.
Come on, let's go. Hello?
Just a moment. It's for you, from Culebra.
Again, Tell him that I'm out. Come on, let's go.
Senor Ramirez, I think you better take this one.
This isn't a relative, but Carlos would really like to relate to her, so to speak.
You are still angry with me for last night.
Oh, no. How can I be angry with somebody that means so much to me?
Well, if you still want to see me.
Yes, of course. Oh, you mean today?
Mm-hmm. As soon as you can come.
How about tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I may not feel like a boat ride.
This offer is good for 1 day only. Take it or leave it. He'll take it.
Sister, I am terribly sorry, but I have to go to Culebra at once.
Oh, well, that's okay. The children don't care where they go, just as long as it's on a boat.
No, you don't understand. I might have to stay there overnight. It's something very serious.
He tells the children, my relatives there are so poor I have to do something for them. I'm not sure what, but I'll figure it out.
Well, why don't you bring them here?
My family? To San Tanco?
Yeah, they could live in that empty house you own on Moreno Hill. At least they wouldn't have to pay rent.
That's a great idea. Now, that's exactly what I'm going to insist they do. Now, we have to go. Come on. Okay.
What about the boat ride?
Well,
No, I'm sorry. We'll have to go on a boat ride some other time. Carlos is busy today.
No, boat ride.
here. Don't cry here.
Neither of them can find a way to get Violetta to stop crying. But Sister Bertrille will have to handle it. Carlos needs to get going.
Come on, Carlos said he'd take us on a boat ride some other time.
I don't care about the boat ride.
Well, then why are you crying?
I don't feel good. My neck hurts.
She has the mumps. This could be trouble depending on who's had them, who's vaccinated, and all that, because the mumps virus is stupid contagious, and it can be dangerous depending on when you get them. I think Corporal Klinger described it best on MASH. If you get them as a kid, you don't get them as an adult. If you get them as an adult, you don't get kids. The mumps and I have a special relationship because that childhood disease is the reason I washed out of the Army. I've never done anything the usual way, so I had measles at 16, got my tonsils out at 17, and had the mumps at 18. I knew what could happen if I didn't take the mumps seriously, so I was flat in bed for 2 weeks. And 2 weeks after that, I got on a bus and shipped out to Fort Ord, California to join the Army. Needless to say, my immune system had taken a major beating and still hadn't recovered. Day one, they slapped us with 4 vaccination shots. One of those was a flu shot. My body didn't have the resources to deal with it, and I landed in the hospital for 10 days. I missed enough training that I never had a chance. I tried, but eventually they stuck an honorable discharge in my hands and told me to go home. One time in my life, I obeyed orders.
The doctor is certain of it. He's checking the other children now.
Oh, poor little Violette.
Sister Bertrille, please don't touch her. She is contagious.
Oh, well, that's all right. I already had the mumps. I think.
The doctor will stick you with a big needle if you didn't.
I had them.
The needle brought it all back to her. But there's another problem. Carlos hugged her. If he hasn't had them, or even if he has, he could create an epidemic on Culebra. He's already on his way there, so there's no way to contact him. Sister Bertrille will have to head over there the quick way. She can't find his yacht anywhere, so she'll look for him at his uncle's place.
Why would you expect to find him here?
Well, he said he was coming here.
Carlos? Carlos Ramirez? Carlos Ramirez who owns a gambling casino but makes his uncle work himself to the bone?
You're wrong about that.
What do you mean?
Well, the reason he's coming here is because he knows you're unhappy with your job and he wants to help you.
They can't believe it. He says, help us how? She says he should tell you that. But they wheedle it out of her.
He wants you and your whole family to move to San Tanco and live in the house he owns on Moreno Hill.
Oh, this Carlos, what have I always said to you about him?
It's better I don't repeat it.
Especially in front of the nun. She'll go back to the docks to look for Carlos while Antonio goes to the construction company to quit his job.
Oh, Carlos, where have you been? I've been looking all over for you.
Oh, I'm sorry, sweetheart, but I had engine trouble and I had to go to Punta Leone to get it fixed.
You mean we can't go on the yacht?
Of course we can. I told you I got it fixed. Come on, let's go.
He should know that won't work. She always finds him. She has a special built-in radar where Carlos is concerned.
What is it, Carlos?
Well, I just realized we better not take a chance with the engine. Let's do something else. How about going to your place?
My place?
Sister Bertrille spots him just as they jump into a cab and speed away.
Carlos! Carlos!
Okay, speed away may be a slight exaggeration.
Come on, get going. Get us out of here.
You want to drive, senor?
Excuse me.
Carlos decided the driver had a good idea.
You didn't catch him?
Oh, I must have been chasing the wrong cab.
Maybe you can find him on Lopez Street,
Lopez Street?
where the lady lives. That's what he told the driver.
What lady? He came to see his uncle.
She didn't look like an uncle to me. She didn't even look like an aunt.
A few things are starting to click in her head, and I foresee a less than great day for Carlos.
Oh, no. It's her.
How did you ever find it?
She's got connections.
Sister Bertrille knows patio umbrellas aren't usually that nervous, so she takes a closer look.
Carlos? Excuse me.
You are looking for someone, sister?
Oh, yes, I was looking for a friend of mine. I guess he's not here. Just about worn myself out looking for him.
Sit down, sister, and rest.
She's been all over this island looking for him. Too bad she's not telling anybody why.
Does he know many women?
Sometimes I think he knows them all. He's what you call a playboy type, you know, love him and leave him.
Yes, I know.
Why do I get the feeling he forgot to tell her that part? Sister Bertrille says, but he's really one of the kindest people I ever met. He came here to help his uncle and his family.
Oh, you should have seen the look on his uncle's face when he heard that Carlos was going to take his whole family to live in San Tanco.
What?
Carlos, what are you doing here?
If you are looking for Mr. Love him and leave him, sister. I don't know who's going to love him, but guess who's leaving?
Remember what Carlos said at the beginning about her knack for doing that to him? Yeah, she just had it in for a 5,000-mile checkup. It's working fine.
She was the emergency in Culebra?
Yes.
And all that stuff about your family, you made that up, isn't it true?
Well, what is truth?
Oh, Carlos, I'm ashamed of you.
Well, if you didn't check up on everything I said, you wouldn't have to be ashamed of me.
I wasn't checking up on you. I came to warn you you've been exposed to the mumps.
Thank you. I already had the maps.
Good, then I can go.
Has Elena had them? Somebody should ask her. Carlos is more concerned about how his uncle got the idea that everybody's going to San Tanco.
I told him.
You did it. Oh, that's terrible.
What's worse is he's quitting his job.
A job? My uncle had a job and he's quitting? The only job he's had in his whole life and he's quitting? Why? Why?
To go to San Tanco?
That should have been obvious, Carlos. You expect him to commute?
How could you mislead this poor man this way?
Well, I just told him what you told me.
Sister, by this time, you should know me well enough not to believe everything I tell you.
Okay, he's got her there. She's caught him in enough lies that she should be more wary by now, especially if there's a chance a female of the species is involved. She's going to make him go face the family and tell them the truth.
Carlos, my favorite nephew, come in, sister. Everybody, look who is here.
Carlos, oh, my pet, come in, come in. Oh, come. You too, sister. This is your rich cousin, Carlos, from San Tanco.
What is going on here?
We're just having a little celebration. Come, I want you to meet the kids, huh?
When Sister Bertrille told Antonio Carlos was taking the whole family, she didn't realize that's close to a dozen people. I hope it's a big house.
Wait a minute. I want to tell you something.
Carlos, you don't have to tell us anything. We know what it's all about. And this is why the celebration.
No, there is a mistake. Now, listen to me, everyone.
Yes, my pet, what is it?
All right, everybody, we drink a toast to Cousin Carlos.
Well, don't just stand there, Carlos. Throw your wet blanket on everybody's joy. That's what you came here to do, so get busy. You don't really think he can do it, do you?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I think Carlos learned a very important life principle. Just go with it.
Carlos.
Now, sister, it's no use. You have to tell him.
Me?
Of course. You saw me trying. Every time I open my mouth, my uncle pours wine into it.
Well, maybe if you get drunk enough, you'll summon the courage to dash their hopes. In spite of her misgivings, she'll try.
With all due respect, sister, you have no right to talk about our Carlos like that.
Sister, I know him better than you. When he's a baby and his mother is sick with a fever, it is I who take care of him. You think he could forget such a thing?
No, I wouldn't.
And when he breaks his nice new bicycle, who does he bring it to fix?
So why haven't you gotten a job fixing bicycles? I have a feeling it involves a lot less heavy lifting than construction does.
Who do you think gave him the party for his baptism? Do you think he forget things like that?
No,
Sister, that's right. Do you think Ramirez can forget these things?
Smooth, Carlos. Now she's the villain and you're the hero riding in to save the day. It's a good thing she's the forgiving type because that was a dirty move. Not that he planned it. As we all know, guilt can be a great motivator.
So, kids, we come to the end of our boat ride.
that was great, Carlos.
I'm sorry it had to be a movie, but what else can I do on a rainy day?
We don't know how long it's been, so we also don't know if Violetta is over the mumps yet. In any case, the kids enjoyed that, and Carlos did what he could to keep his promise. And he's right. I've been out on a boat on a rainy day, and you can see the inside of the windshield. That's about it. Fortunately, in my case, it was a dive boat, and once we got under the water, the rain didn't matter.
Uncle Antonio! Aunt Constancia, what are you doing here?
Carlos, we can no longer stay in that house.
Why?
We're getting drowned. The roof leaks.
Sounds like it's been a while since Carlos inspected the place. Maybe he should have done that before he moved them in.
I have sent for Cousin Arturo the carpenter. He will fix up the roof. In the meantime, we will move in here.
Okay, kids, everybody in. Come on, come on.
21st century rugged independent Americans will have fits over the way he tells rather than asking, but outside the U.S., a lot of families are like that. It's understood that in such a situation, you open your doors and let them stay. This is one of those families. Everybody knew that, except Carlos. If you enjoyed this, please click the like button to let me and YouTube know you want to see more. If you're not subscribed yet, punch me in the mask here and get signed up so you don't miss a thing, because something is always happening here at Irving Zoo. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. It's giving us the introduction to the day's, good grief, relatives. I can say relatives. Good grief. That wasn't so bloody hard, was it? Carlos is more... Carlos was taking the whole... Carlos. I have a feeling it involves... Why? The match is having a real time today.